Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Rock Bottom Airsoft. It's good to see you again. If this is your first time here, then as always it is good to see you and I hope you're going to stick around. Okay, well, welcome to our weekend video. It's good to be back at another weekend. I'm looking forward to a game of Airsoft this weekend. If you guys are playing, I hope you have some good games, some good weather. Okay, well, today, a bit of a different video. This one was actually loosely based off a suggestion from one of our viewers, which is great. Stu basically said that it'd be a good idea to do some loadout ideas and the type of thing that I use in the field. So what I thought I'd do to start that off, and if you guys like it, we'll look to do more in this series of affordable loadouts and different price point loadouts and that type of thing. For you guys out there that are maybe newer to Airsoft, if you're wondering what kind of loadout you need, you know, we can maybe go through that for different budgets, different styles, maybe even look at the most affordable loadout you can ever have, which is, if you're at your first game, you can rent equipment, and then you very basic stuff that you need for that. But what I thought we'd do today is do a little bit about me. Now, I'm going to show you what my preferred loadout is. When I say this, remember that the loadout we're looking at here is not necessarily my favourite replicas or what I think looks best or what I'm saying you should go out and get. This is the loadout that I like to wear to play in, if that makes sense. If I go to a skirmish, these are the items that I have the most fun in. So they're not designed for any theme, they're not designed to look like anything, it's not milsim or anything like that. I play skirmish games outdoors, so this is the loadout that I normally find I have the greatest amount of fun. So this isn't saying go out and buy all this stuff, this is what you want to enjoy Airsoft. This is my personal choice of what I find the most fun and the most usual loadout I'll wear if I'm just going for a cracking good skirmish day, and it gives me a lot of fun. Now, it's quite a light loadout. It might surprise you guys, some of my choices, especially if you're experienced players. It might not be your cup of tea necessarily, but it's what I like. So without further ado, let's have a look at my loadout. Where should we start, guys? Well, let's start with what I wear, and then we'll get into the replicas and the good stuff. So the first thing is trousers. These are, well, they're not really a set camouflage, guys. I'm going to completely be honest with you. You know we do things here on the affordable side on the channel. Now, these, I obviously have lots of other trousers and different types of camouflage, but these are the ones I commonly go to, as you can tell with how worn they are. I've got a few pair of these. They look similar to DPM pattern camouflage, which works well in the wood, but these are by a company called Blue Castle. They're as cheap gets. These are actually work trousers. They're not, strictly speaking, any kind of military gear or anything like that. They're just a pair of work cargo trousers. You can get these online, you can get these at DIY centres and that type of thing. You can get a pair of these for around about 10 British pounds, between 10 and 15 British pounds. They are dirt cheap, guys. They are by far and away not the best trousers you can get, but they'll take a beating, and if they get ripped or damaged in the field, I'm not right bothered because they're so cheap to replace. And that's why I like these trousers, guys. So that's the pair of trousers that are my normal go-tos. Anybody out there who knows me, who's played Airsoft with me before, if you've played a game with me at some point, you'll have seen me in this sort of trouser. And as I say, when you're on the field, you can't really tell the difference, guys. They take a bit of stick. The only thing I'd say is the downside is the belt loops can be a bit tight for some belts. Okay, so that's the trousers I go with. Now, U-backs wise, I like to wear a U-backs. I've always worn U-backs. I don't always use a plate carrier, but I still like a U-backs. This one is American Woodland camouflage, as you can tell. It's had a bit of wear and tear. It's had quite a bit of use. It's short-sleeved, and it's by Invader Gear. I've had this for some time. This is my go-to U-backs. It's got patch points on the sleeve, so you can put some patches on there. Now, again, you guys know I play outdoors. I'm up here in the Highlands of Scotland. I play in winter, and I still use this U-backs in winter, guys. I like it because it goes well with this camo, this kind of pseudo DPM that's on these work trousers. But I like this U-backs. It goes well as a set together, and the camo and colours work well for the forest that I play in. With me saying I play in winter, obviously I don't wear a jacket, guys, when I'm playing. I tend not to wear any kind of jacket. I don't like anything flapping about. I like to run light. In summer, I'll just wear the trousers and the short sleeve U-backs, so I won't have anything protecting my arms. I'll just go short sleeved. In the winter, if it's a little bit cooler, what I'll tend to do is put a base layer of some sort underneath, guys. This base layer has got long sleeves, so obviously I put that on underneath the U-backs, and it keeps my arms a bit drier and a bit warmer. This is not an expensive base layer. I got this from an outdoor shop here in the UK. I think I paid around about £13 British for it. So again, not very expensive at all. The most expensive item of clothing there, believe it or not, is actually this U-backs from Invader Gear. But again, with the U-backs, it's worth paying that little bit extra because they are a lot comfier and usually a lot better quality. So that's the clothing that I tend to wear, guys. So as you can see, nothing flash, nothing fancy, just gets the job done. It's a reasonable amount of camouflage, works well in the environment I play in, and as I say, it's quite hard wearing and it works out. On my head, we have, as many of you will know, I normally wear a baseball cap sometimes. With the cameras these days, to get the gameplay footage for you guys, I actually prefer wearing the helmet because it keeps the camera more stable. It's a more stable mount for the camera on my noggin. This is an Emerson Gear helmet. I have my mask. I use mesh masks for my lower face protection. I always wear lower face protection, guys. You guys who know me or have been following the channel for a while will know that I do say that it's a good idea to have lower face protection. Primarily because you don't want your teeth getting shot out. I've seen too many people get injuries that make the face bleed. I don't fancy that myself, so I have lower face pro. Now I've actually managed to stitch this on to these fast removal clips on the side of the helmet, so I can clip this on and off in the field and it's permanently attached to my helmet. I don't forget it. I quite like that. That's another reason I like it. I don't have straps around my head everywhere which get in the way. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't like wearing the helmets particularly. I purely wear this these days really because, you know, the mask integration has made it really easy. The camera mount is brilliant using the MVG pod on the front of the helmet. That's great. And again, you know, it does give you some level of head protection, which is pretty cool. And you've got, with this cover on here, you've got points where you can add patches as well and make it look however you want. I think the Emerson Gear helmets retail for around about £40 British. The cover that's on here is such a fleck turn cover, German camouflage. I think the cover was around about £8 British. Again, you can get all different styles of these fast helmets. Some people will mount the comms to the rails. I, on night games, sometimes have a torch mounted on this rail here. Easy enough to add things to the rails. They're very modular. And like I say, mounting the mask permanently, like so, to your helmet is really good because you've always got your mask on you and you don't have to strap it around your head. So yeah, guys, that's my headgear, as it were. For eye protection, which I haven't got in front of me here, I wear a pair of Bolle Tracker 2 safety glasses, which I've done a full video on previously, if you haven't seen that already, testing it. Testing them with snipers and AEGs to show you how strong they are. And the Bolle Tracker 2s are very affordable, guys. You can get those at most homeware shops or DIY shops. Anywhere that sells safety equipment, really, you can get them from Airsoft suppliers, but they tend to be cheaper if you get them from a DIY supplier. You can pick those up for around about 11 to 15 British pounds. Everybody says don't cheap out on your eye protection. To me, guys, I've worn the Tracker 2s for years, multiple shots in them, tested many times, no problem at all. They'll work fine for you. So that's my headgear and face protection, guys. My helmet, my camera, and obviously my Bolly Tracker 2s, my trusty Bolly Tracker 2s. They do have an issue with fogging, guys, but if you use some decent anti-fog, or if you use revision wipes like I use, which are becoming harder to get hold of these days, guys, that will stop you having any issue with fogging whatsoever. Now, for load carrying duties, I use this. The holster that's on here is a Deadly Customs holster for a G&G Piranha pistol. Now, ignore that holster for now, guys. That's not my normal loadout, but I was trying this out in the field at my last game. The shooter's belt that I'm using here is actually from Helicon Techs. They're very affordable as shooter belts go. As many of you know me will know, my favourite belt is from FRV Tailoring, but that's much more expensive. And I don't tend to always wear that one for my light loadouts. I've got that set up with loads of pouches on it for AR magazines and that type of thing. If I'm going light with my preferred gameplay loadout, I tend to wear this shooter's belt, which is the Helicon Techs one. Now on this shooter's belt, I'll normally have a pistol holster. Not normally this one. It's normally a G-Series retention holster that I have on here. But as I say, I've got this one on here at the moment purely because I was trying out the Piranha. I also have some Mark V Thunder Flash magazine holder. Grenade holder. The Mark V Thunder Flashes fit in this Deadly Customs holder perfectly. They're quick to access. Not the cheapest item to add to your belt. I think it's around about 20 British pounds. I think they do them cheaper depending on which one you get. They're about 15 British pounds, something like that, for the Deadly Customs Mark V Thunder Flash pouch, as it were. It's not really a pouch, it's hard. But the retention on it is great. It will hold 2 Thunder Flashes in there, which is more than enough for one skirmish game, and they're really easy to get at, guys. That's one of my favourite pouches. I only got that recently. I also have this pouch from Condor. This is a 40mm grenade pouch, but believe it or not, that will hold pistol magazines and smoke grenades. Pretty much you can fit all sorts in those pouches that it wasn't originally designed for, which is why it's on there. It also has a zip compartment, guys, so I can put keys, coins, that type of thing in there if I have anything in the field with me. And then on the back, finally, we have a radio pouch, which is a Viper radio pouch. The radio pouch, I don't always have my radio with me, guys, but it will hold the most common radios you're going to use in Airsoft. And it will hold them securely. I've never had my radio drop out of that pouch. But you can also use it as a push for magazines, again, grenades, anything you want to put in there. And that is it, guys. That is the belt setup I will use when I'm going out for a fun game of a bit of speed. The belt itself from Helicon, I think you can get hold of it on Military First. They're around about 50 to 60 British pounds, not quite as expensive as the FRV Tailoring or some of the other more custom belts are. But again, it's got good class, good retention, inner Velcro strips. So if you have one of the inner belts, that will attach to this, just the same as the FRV Tailoring and that type of belt. Excellent belt, guys, and quite affordable. And as I say, as you can see, I've got pretty much nothing loaded on that. There's no capacity for carrying primary weapon magazines at all. So that's the belt I would normally run, guys, on one of my play days, as I would call it. The pistol that I would use, the sidearm that I most commonly use, many of you will know that my favourite series of pistols is G-Series, and that would be this one. I tend to use this pistol a lot, guys. This is the WE G19X. Excellent pistol, 17 sized frame, so good for my hands. It feels good in the hand. And a 19 slide chamfered for quick holstering and deholstering. A really awesome pistol, guys. It's one of my absolute favourite gas blowback pistols, and that's the WE G19X. So if I'm running a sidearm, that's what I tend to run on fun days, because it just works, guys. It works really well, and for sidearm duties it's superb. It's a little bit different. You don't see many G19Xs knocking about. You see lots of G-Series pistols, but not so many of them. So you know, that's my pistol of choice normally on a fun game day. Obviously, as part of my kit, if I'm running the pistol, is a pistol lanyard. This is a generic pistol lanyard. I think I paid around about £5 for this on eBay. It's just got a standard clip on there. You can see all the tags on there from when I've been in game and chronoed. That just clips through the loop on your pistol, and then it just velcros onto your belt, guys. Again, probably not the highest quality item in the world, but it does the job. I've not lost a pistol yet, which I don't want to. So yeah, that's the pistol lanyard that I tend to use. That'll be looped around my belt once my pistol's in place. That's attached to my pistol. That way, I don't have to worry quite as much about my pistol falling out the holster. I've never had it fall out the holster so far, which is good. But you know, I like to have the added security of a lanyard, and sometimes they can look pretty cool as well. So I'll have that if I'm running the pistol. Another item to add to our collection of replicas is I always live in hope, guys. This is a replica bayonet. Comes with the holster. As you can see, it's been bashed about a lot. It's been out with me in the field loads. This actually will attach to your replica. It has the proper bayonet fixings, and there is some pictures knocking about for Rock Bottom Airsoft on Facebook and Instagram where I have actually got this mounted as a bayonet on one of my AR replicas. Just for the laugh. But it's a nice soft rubber replica knife, so this bayonet is safe for in-game. I usually have this mounted on my belt as part of my loadout, purely because I always live in hope of getting one of those stealthy, sneaky, silent kills, which I've only managed one in my airsoft career, but it just attaches to your belt again via Velcro. Looks quite flimsy, but again, I've never managed to lose it. These things are relatively cheap, I suppose. They're about £20 so not the cheapest in the world for what amounts to a rubber knife. But, you know, it just adds a bit to it. I just like having it, just in case one day I get that chance to be really sneaky. At least I've got my replica melee weapon on me. So this will normally be mounted to my belt. 9 times out of 10, if I'm at a game, whatever loadout I'm running, I'll have some sort of replica knife on there. And the most common one is this replica bayonet. I tend to have that on my belt quite regularly. So that's another part of my loadout, guys. Now we get into the big stuff, and this is probably no surprise to any of you who follow the channel, but the most common replica I will use if I'm going out just for a fun game, a good skirmish day, is my G&G ARP9. This G&G ARP9, I've had this for years. I love it. It's one of my absolute favourite replicas. From a realism point of view, I don't think it's there, but from a use point of view, it's so pointable, so small, so compact. It's just a great little replica. It shoots good. It's got more than enough range for playing out in the forest like I do, even with this very short inner barrel and the overall short size of it. Transitioning's easy with it. It doesn't weigh too much. You can move fast with it. I just really like it, guys. It performs. The only aftermarket parts on this particular ARP9 is obviously the stubby stock that I've added on for better battery space, and I kind of think it looks cool. It's one of them things you either love it or hate it. It's got the Perrin ETU++ MOSFET on there as well. Just to test it out, really. I was quite happy with the standard MOSFET, guys, but you know, everybody was saying how good they were, so I thought we'd test one on the channel. There is a video on the channel about the Perrin ETU++, how to set it up and what have you. You know, so just great all-round replica. The sight that I've got on here is Fiachi, one of the Fiachi red dots. Not one that they sent me. I actually bought this one myself from Amazon. I think the sight was around about £42. Really nice, came with the riser, it works. I don't tend to use my red dots that much. I like them on there for the look. But yeah, a great little replica. I love my ARP9. But one thing I must stress when I'm using the ARP9 that really makes it for me is this, and that is the G&G manual wind drum magazine. So you'll now understand why I don't have any magazine pouches on that Helican shooter's belt apart from pistol mags, and that is because, oops, throwing this about, that is because I tend to run this drum mag. This manual wind drum mag, it's expensive compared to other drum mags, but you really do get a quality item with this. I've used this now for years as well, and it's never let me down, guys. It's easy as anything to load. You just load your BBs in the window at the back here, and then you wind it up at the front there, just like you would with a giant high capacity magazine. And with a few winds, once it's tensioned, it lasts for ages before you have to wind it again. I think it holds around about 2,000 BBs, which in skirmish games like I play, that's more than enough, guys. That'll last me normally a good couple of games if I'm going heavy on the trigger. Or near enough a whole day sometimes without me needing to refill the magazine if I'm just on semi. And even with the magazine in, the replica is still very light, very maneuverable, and very quick. So that is what I would tend to use as my loadout. For sling duties, I should probably mention, I use a single point bungee sling. This one, again, military first. It's a reasonable quality one. I've used cheaper ones before, which were fine, but they do wear out a bit quicker. Whereas this one was a little bit more expensive. It wasn't mega expensive. I think it's around about 30 British pounds, guys. But I just like them because when I get back to safe zone, I can just unclip my primary. If I need to put it down, I can just unclip it. And with a replica this size, a single point bungee is more than enough, guys. And it just hangs just right. So there we go, guys. That is my ideal loadout usually if I'm playing just for a fun day's gameplay. And as I say, this replica, I've done lots of videos on it. You all know I really like it. I like G&G in general. I wouldn't say I was a fanboy on it because I like all replicas pretty much. But I really like this ARP9. I've always liked it. It's probably been used more than any other replica I own. So those items there, as you can probably tell, guys, if you're just starting out, then this loadout it wouldn't cost you as much as a lot of loadouts could, but it will add up. It's not the cheapest loadout in the world, but I think most of it is affordable. The clothing especially, you can get a full camo loadout with U-backs, with a base layer, and with a pair of trousers. You're probably only looking around about 50 to 60 British pounds for that clothing. You don't really need the shooter's belt if you're not running a pistol, or you know, if you just want to use the pockets on the cargo trousers, you're fine. If you're running this drum magazine, you really won't need a reload. So if you play skirmishes, that is, like me. So you know, the replica and the drum magazine would be the most expensive parts of this. If you were wanting to run the sidearm, again, if you don't need any load carrying, you don't need the shooter's belt. You could get a basic belt which will hold a holster with enough rigidity to hold a holster. Again, you're still only going to be looking about 20 British pounds for the belt. You could get a loadout fairly affordably, just like mine. But you know, let me know in the comments, guys, what you think of this loadout. As I say, it might not be to everybody's taste, but for me, on just a normal skirmish day, this is my ideal loadout. I really enjoy using it. Maybe let me know about some of your guys' favourite loadouts in the comments. You know, and I mean the loadout you wear when you're just going for fun. When you're not going for the photos or the tactical look or any of that. When all you're doing is just going for the gameplay. Let me know, and we'll see whether you're similar to me in what you like taking. But apart from that, guys, that's me. Showed you my loadout there. I really hope you found it interesting. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you'd like me to do any more videos discussing different loadouts, such as maximum affordability or minimal loadouts or expensive loadouts. What, you know, let me know in the comments what you'd like to see if you do want to see more on different loadouts. I'll always respond to a comment, guys. I might not get back to you straight away, but I will always respond. But apart from that, like I say, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. And if you did enjoy it, drop a like on it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then do please get subscribed. That way you won't miss any of my future videos. I've got a new battery charger we're going to be having a look at shortly, and a few other things in the pipeline that we'll be having a look at this year. But apart from that, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.